Tonight, classrooms under construction.
Makes me a little nervous as some constructions, but again, everything's blocked off nicely to be safe.
How a new year is starting at a Kitchener elementary school.
And know that that will be a bit of a process.
That isn't quite finished. In search of more victims.
So we're taking the unusual step of releasing his name and photo to reach out to the community and encourage anyone else who may have had concerning interactions with him to come forward.
The appeal from police about a Cambridge man who's already charged with sexual assault. A push to get light rail to Cambridge back on track.
I'm still kind of frustrated about it. It seems like turtle steps rather than baby steps.
Reaction to the region's new conversation.
It's the best way to connect communities.
About extending the ION.
Good evening. It was back to school today for students across Waterloo region, but for some of them, settling in for the year will be a work in progress. The new Willow River Elementary School in Kitchener isn't quite finished, and it won't be for weeks. CTV's Heather Centerin joining us live outside the school now with that story. And Heather, we should note the board says it has been planning for this situation, but what does it mean right now for students?
Well, Tony, some students are in temporary spaces while they wait for their permanent classrooms to be ready, and the school board says that might be the case for the next couple of weeks at least. And we were not allowed inside of the school this morning, but you can see on the outside there is construction equipment on site and fences are up, blocking certain places off. It's a new day at a brand new school, so a case of the first day jitters isn't unusual.
A little nervous.
But at Willow River in Kitchener, many parents are feeling it too.
It makes me a little nervous as some constructions, but again, everything's blocked off nicely to be safe.
Some of the school is ready, but some of it is still a construction site.
We aren't quite have full occupancy yet, and know that that will be a bit of a process. Last year's severe winter slowed down some construction a little bit.
The rest of the construction will happen in the coming weeks and months.
I think from what it was explained to me, the construction's all at the far end of the building, and the parts where the students will be, especially the kindergarten kids, is separated.
The Waterloo Region District School Board is assuring parents it's still safe to be in classes until the work is done.
There will be no situations where student and staff are interacting with any of the construction.
The kids' safety is their #1 priority, so I'm okay. I know that they wouldn't put our kids in there if it wasn't.
Some are starting the school year in temporary classrooms, waiting for their permanent rooms to be ready. A few portables are also on site to ease classroom space during construction.
On October 1st, we'll have further occupancy of the school, and looking at that point to at least have the gym available to us, and then into December that we would have occupancy of the whole school.
Some parents are looking at the bright side.
It is very nice inside. It is very modern. You know, bright, fresh colors, a whole library full of new books for them to explore. Everything's new.
The school board says they focused on sustainable practices and made sure the facility was environmentally friendly.
Part of the architecture was we used an Indigenous firm to help support the building of the school, so many Indigenous features throughout the school.
The full opening of the building will eventually mark the end of around 5 years of planning for this new school. The Director of Education says around 300 students are enrolled here, but they do have space for about double that, so they're hoping as the community grows, so does enrollment. Tony.
Okay, CTV's Heather Centerin live outside Willow River Elementary School in Kitchener. Heather, thank you for that. And on the afternoon before kids headed back to school, a stunt driving charge in a school zone in Wellington County. The OPP pulled a vehicle over in a community safety zone yesterday at 3:15 p.m. right in front of a school along Garifraxa Street East in Fergus. The 37-year-old driver from Fergus is now charged with stunt driving and speeding in a community safety zone, and that led to an automatic 14-day impoundment for the vehicle and a 3-day license suspension. Okay, time for a first check on the weather as we head over to Alex Pinto in studio. And I think this is the kind of back to school weather that a lot of people enjoyed today, still with that hint of summer in the air.
Hint of summer in the air. We're seeing that sunshine. We're feeling the warmth too, but still a little bit of a cooler breeze. So maybe you had some special back to school outfits with all the layers and getting ready for the fall season. Officially not quite yet, but pretty nice in terms of going back to school, and good timing because as we look ahead to the evening, overnight, and even the rest of the week, chance for a little bit of wet weather possible for us. So getting into the rest of the day, we're seeing just a bit of cloud cover for us here this hour as we look at our satellite and radar map. You can see that band of wet weather making its way towards the east, and we'll let you know potentially how much rain we could see in just a little bit. Right now, though, 25 degrees, so fairly comfortable. We are just above seasonal for this time of year. Also 25 in London, 26 if you are in Hamilton. And yes, not feeling any extreme heat or humidity. Overall, fairly comfortable conditions. But we'll take a look at how much, again, wet weather we could see over the next few days, and if we're going to get a break as we look ahead to tomorrow. That and more coming up a bit later. Tony.
Alex, thank you very much. Chat with you soon. An incident in Guelph over the weekend that left an 80-year-old woman with life-threatening injuries has now led to a charge of attempted murder. Guelph police say the woman was found in the Macdonnell Street and Wyndham Street North area with severe injuries on Sunday morning at around 9:40. She was taken to the hospital, and then later that night, a 34-year-old man from Guelph was arrested and charged with both attempted murder and aggravated assault. Investigators say the victim and the suspect had met before, but that they're not considered close acquaintances. Next, an appeal from police about a Cambridge man who's been charged with sexual assault. Investigators in Guelph who've been handling this case believe there may be more victims. Let's go live now to CTV's Ashley Bacon, who can tell us more about the suspect and who police believe he possibly had interactions with as well. Ash.
Well, Tony, Guelph police have arrested and charged 47-year-old Trevor Betchen, who they believe targeted sex trade workers. Police say Betchen was arrested on March 15th and charged with sexual assault causing bodily harm by strangulation, sexual assault causing bodily harm, and forcible confinement. Then on August 29th, Betchen was charged again in connection with a second victim. Investigators believe he used a 2020 Nissan Murano similar to the one pictured here during the offenses. Now police are appealing to the public for information and for any other victims to come forward.
We understand that he specifically targeted individuals associated with the sex trade. And that's a population, of course, that is often uncomfortable coming forward and speaking to the police. So that's why we are issuing this appeal. You know, whether people are involved in that trade or not, or had other interaction with them, we'd like them to come forward and speak to us.
It's important to note that police believe that prior to October 2024, Betchen used another unknown vehicle. Betchen remains in custody. Tony.
Okay, Ashley Bacon live with that update. Ashley, thank you for that. And provincial police in the Woodstock area are investigating the discovery of human remains in southwest Oxford Township. Police were called to a property on Beachville Road Monday afternoon after someone made the discovery. Police say initial information suggests there's no sign of a broader threat, but officers are investigating along with the chief coroner and the provincial forensic pathology service. Around $44 million worth of drugs have been seized in a massive cocaine bust at the Blue Water Bridge in Sarnia. Canadian border agents seized 349 kilograms of cocaine in 2 incidents. In one, a commercial truck coming from the U.S. was sent for a secondary inspection where the drugs were discovered. In the other case, a tractor trailer entering Canada was searched and even more cocaine was found. 2 men from the Toronto area were arrested. We have new details tonight in the murder of a Vaughan father killed while trying to protect his children during a home invasion. Police are now investigating whether this was connected to another violent home invasion attempt the same night. CTV's Sean Leathong reports.
It was 2:20 in the morning, Sunday, August 31st. 3 masked men walk up to this Kleinberg home, smashing the front door with the handle of a gun. The video released by York Regional Police this morning.
At the time of the incident, 2 adults and 2 children, aged 6 and 9, were within the residence. At least one of those suspects was armed with a firearm.
Yelling can be heard from inside, along with what appears to be a security alarm. The 3 masked men leave, this all happening just 90 minutes after another home invasion killed 46-year-old Aleem Farouki. The 2 homes are located just 1 kilometer apart.
While the 2 incidents have not been formally linked, investigators are reviewing the evidence for possible connections.
Farouki was shot and killed inside his Kleinberg home with his 4 children present just before 1 a.m.
3 cowards came in and changed everything for our family that night, and I urge that everyone reflect on that.
And as the suspects remain at large, the victim's brother stood alongside Vaughan's mayor calling for an increase in public safety.
I saw a school bus pull up yesterday in front of their house, and I thought, is my niece and nephew supposed to be on that school bus? They're devastated. They're worried.
Vaughan Mayor Stephen Del Duca said keeping communities safe means keeping repeat offenders in jail instead of getting bail.
These three specific animals, let's be clear about this, scumbags who have killed this incredibly important person and shattered this family. We don't know who these three are, but based on everything I've seen, there is a decent chance, perhaps more than a decent chance, that these are people who have a track record in criminal activity.
Something that York Regional Police Chief Jim McSween said as well.
I'm disappointed to report that many of the violent incidents in our region, we are arresting repeat offenders over and over again.
The police chief saying that while overall crime is down, brazen acts like this one are on the rise.
That's Sean Leathong reporting. And Toronto police are warning about an alarming rise in a crime that often targets the vulnerable, and something we've seen reports of here in Waterloo region, distraction thefts. CTV's Beth McDonnell now with more on the concerns and tips on avoiding becoming a victim.
Distraction thefts, Toronto police say, often play out in commercial parking lots like this one. Here, a female suspect in the black SUV speaks to the victim asking for directions. She goes on to say it's her birthday and because of her custom, she should give a gift. The victim then goes over to the other side of the SUV and is given a ring and is hugged. Only after the SUV drives off does the victim realize their necklace is gone.
These suspects typically work in pairs, sometimes even involving children.
Reports of distraction thefts are surging, 374 already this year compared to the same period last year. Officers believe many of them go unreported. Thefts can also unfold at a victim's property. This time, someone on the passenger side of the vehicle asks the victim for directions to the nearest mosque and to pray for their sick mother. The suspect then begins putting rings and necklaces on the victim before trying to take the victim's watch and necklace. There's a struggle, and the vehicle ends up dragging the victim down the street.
Suspects often remain in vehicles, which makes identification difficult. The victims, primarily elderly, are often left in shock, limiting their ability to provide accurate descriptions.
Police say distraction thefts typically target people 60 to 90 years of age who are alone, wearing jewelry from mid-morning to mid-afternoon. Tactics include asking for directions, pretending to need help, starting an argument or scene, spilling something on the victim, offering to sell or gift jewelry, and asking the victim to pray with them. Police are troubled by the increasing level of violence by suspects, which are believed to be linked to organized crime. To stop thieves, officers in the East and West have launched a coordinated effort with targeted investigations and are increasing patrols in commercial, residential, and high-traffic areas. Tips to protect yourself include making sure bags are zipped, not to leave them on tables or the backs of chairs, and keep a distance. If someone is close enough to put a necklace around your neck, they're too close. Beth McDonnell, CTV News.
The woman known as the Ketamine Queen pleaded guilty today to selling Matthew Perry the drug that killed him. Jasveen Senga made good on a plea deal she signed last month by pleading guilty to 5 federal charges. Perry's mother, Suzanne, was in the courtroom. The Canadian actor was found dead in his Los Angeles home in 2023. He had struggled with addiction and was using ketamine to treat depression, but apparently had sought out more than his doctor would prescribe. Start your day in the know with our CTV Kitchener newsletter. Local content from our newsroom right to your inbox, the top stories, the latest forecast, and must-see videos. You can sign up at ctvnewskitchener.ca. No more roar by the lakeshore. A Toronto waterfront tradition is on the move. Coming up, why the Honda Indy is relocating to Markham next year and the conflicting views on how long it might stay there.
I'm Karis Mapp, and coming up, local commuters weigh in on the region's push to bring rapid transit to Cambridge. A newly released report with 5 options on the table, from light rail to buses. I'll have the details after the break.
Some pretty nice conditions as many students in Waterloo region head back to school today, but some rain could be on the way. We'll break it down in your full forecast coming up a bit later.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We go to a dramatic scene unfolding.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. ctvkitchener.ca, your home for news.
It's a project that's been talked about for more than a decade, and now extending light rail from Kitchener into Cambridge is back in focus, with regional officials recommending it as the best way to get rapid transit to the other side of the 401. CTV's Karis Map has been out getting reaction to this recommendation today. And Karis, we should note it's a recommendation, just that. Nothing's a done deal yet, and Council's going to be taking up this conversation soon.
Tony, at this point, regional transportation officials are exploring 5 options to expand rapid transit to Cambridge. Light rail, buses, or a combination of modes are all on the table. The ongoing conversation of bringing faster connecting transportation to Cambridge is back in focus, a topic dating back decades.
The project originally was conceived in 1976 when we decided we would have a central transit corridor. And so 50 years if we count back. Since the opening of ION Stage 1, we had started work immediately on Stage 2 and rapid transit to Cambridge.
Something this commuter in Cambridge says is much needed.
I have to get all my connections at Fairview Park Mall, and it seems like a hassle depending on where I am in Kitchener or Cambridge to either come to the Cambridge Centre or go to Fairview Mall. It takes me like a little over an hour to get anywhere between the two cities.
Some travelers even avoiding leaving Cambridge altogether right now.
It takes too long. It's a trek to get to Kitchener, and as you can see, I'm an invalid.
The region released an initial business case this week, saying light rail transit is the option that comes with the most economic and social benefits long term, even though it comes with a higher price tag. The report also looks at other options to get people from Kitchener's Fairway Station to downtown Cambridge, including bus rapid transit or a combination of buses and LRT.
It's the best way to connect communities and to provide people access to opportunities for housing, opportunities for jobs.
The expansion, all part of the region's plan to be ready for 1 million residents by the year 2050.
The results of this business case do show that the 302 bus will not have capacity in future to carry the number of people that will be traveling between South Kitchener and Cambridge.
It's a pretty good bus, but you know it could be a little better, right? They could add something in to like where there's not like as much transfers. You know, it would save a bunch of time.
With some already traveling on the LRT, they say it would be a welcome addition to Cambridge.
I use the train from Kitchener to Waterloo, and basically it's the fastest route. It's the fastest, and people pick up the train more often because anytime you get there in the next 10-15 minutes, you're already in the train. You don't have to wait for long.
The region is continuing to seek public feedback on the options, hosting a series of virtual and in-person consultation sessions.
We're really focused on bringing a recommendation to Council in November and going to upper levels of government with funding requests. We'll be seeking full funding for the project.
As you just heard, Regional Council is expected to discuss this further in November. As for when rapid transit to Cambridge could become a reality, there are no firm timelines, as it all depends on approvals and funding after the decision is made. Tony.
And we'll be watching for those next steps. Okay, Karis, thank you for that update. CTV's Karis Map joining us live. Local food banks are appealing for donations, volunteers, and other means of support during this Hunger Action Month. Last year, a record 73,000 people relied on food assistance programs in Waterloo region. Now, that food bank and the one in Cambridge are urging people to sign a petition asking the provincial and federal governments to take more action on the crisis with policies to reduce poverty and improve incomes. They're also asking people to support pop-up outreach events this month, like the Stuff a Van event that's happening on Saturday at the Cambridge Sobeys on Cedar Street. Well, making sure students are set up for success as a new school year unfolds is top of mind, whether it's watching for signs of sickness, staying on top of their mental health, or just getting to and from school safely. Here's CTV's Lauren Stallone with some expert advice.
The start of the school year has officially kicked off, and London health professionals are reminding children and families to be extra cautious.
I'm no stranger for infections for any parent, but we remind that as kids congregate together and the weather cools down, we know infections are going to rise.
Doctors are encouraging parents to review hand hygiene with their children to help reduce the risk of illness.
If your child isn't feeling well or your child has a fever, really important to stay home and prevent that spread of infection to others.
Healthcare workers also stress the importance of keeping an eye on students' mental health, as the first month of school can often take a toll.
Really make sure they have an open lines of communication and have the opportunity to seek health professionals or any help they need if they see their child is struggling.
London police say one of the biggest concerns this time of year is right here on the roads.
Anyone driving a motor vehicle, right, should have their eyes focused on the road and ensuring that you're watching and being extra cautious through school zones, as well as any pedestrian crosswalks.
They're also asking parents to ensure students walking home or taking the bus are well prepared.
Making sure that they have the appropriate numbers, for example, if they get lost or if they get misdirected and they need help from either, an adult or even the police.
The main message as students head back to school: stay cautious, stay prepared, and stay healthy. Lauren Stallone, CTV News.
Scientists at McMaster University are celebrating what they're calling a potentially groundbreaking discovery. They hope it'll lead to fewer complications associated with a common blood thinner. We get more on that from CTV's health reporter, Pauline Chan.
Heparin is a blood thinner used during all kinds of major surgery, such as cardiac or hip surgery.
The disorder we're working on is called the heparin-induced thrombocytopenia, or HIT. It's one of the most high-stakes complications that doctors face when treating patients with heparin. Although heparin-induced thrombocytopenia is rare overall, it isn't uncommon in hospitals because the number of patients that actually receive it. So doctors see it often enough that they always have to be on alert.
In addition, there is a danger in misdiagnosis.
The challenge with this is that if the diagnosis is missed, patients can develop life-threatening clots. So while you're giving heparin as a blood thinner to prevent clots, it actually causes the clotting. On the other hand, if you misdiagnose the patients, you stop the use of heparin unnecessarily and switch to other blood thinners.
And those alternatives may increase the risk of bleeding during surgery.
Heparin-induced thrombocytopenia causes strokes, heart attacks, various different types of clots, leading to potentially amputation and even death.
In those few cases, clots form as part of an immune response to the heparin. And Professor Isaac Nazi says the body produces scores of different antibodies.
And the misconception was you produce many forms of these antibodies against it. However, what we discovered, and the reason we were able to make this discovery now, is because we have way more sensitive tools. So what we discovered is there's actually one single antibody, which we normally call a monoclonal antibody, that causes the disease. So this is a fundamental shift in our understanding of the disease. It means now we can design tests that can focus on the true culprit, making the diagnosis faster and more reliable.
And Nazi hopes the development of a Canadian test will provide medical benefits for patients around the world, as well as economic benefits here at home. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
All right, let's go to a live look outside now from our photographer, Dave Pettit, who's along Blair Creek Drive at the very south end of Kitchener tonight. A little bit breezy out there this evening, but a nice blue sky as we head towards sunset on this Wednesday night. Alex is back in a couple of moments, though, to tell us when the rain's expected to move in. Also coming up, let us serve up a story of a different kind for you when it comes to Orientation Week activities over at the University of Guelph. But next, a phone call with Trump and then a meeting with his cabinet today. A look at the choices to be made by Prime Minister Carney and his government this week with the economy front and center.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400. From your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Okay, Alex is back with us for a look at the extended forecast. We're halfway through the week already, and as far as back to school days go, pretty nice one today to get things started. I love when the beginning of September still has that late summer feel in the air.
Yeah, I kind of remember the days of when we were probably going back to school, but there were also days where it was rainy and it was cold and you couldn't wear that nice outfit that you wanted to for your first day.
And what would September be without all of those kind of surprises? I know the weeks to come, we're going to see a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything. So today overall, yeah, great day, lots of sunshine, pretty warm conditions overall, but just a slight cool breeze and really comfortable overall. So hopefully you had a chance to enjoy it. Walk to and from school would have been pleasant today, and as we take a live look outside, we can see that breeze still sticking around, but just a few clouds here and nice blue skies still sticking with us. So again, hopefully you had a chance to enjoy it, because as we get over the next few days, this is when we could start to see some of that wet weather roll in on and off, pretty much lasting us right through the rest of the work week, even though shortened, and getting into your weekend as well. So really for us, pretty nice, comfortable conditions. Maybe you want to have dinner on the deck to celebrate the first official day of heading back to school if you are in Waterloo region. But getting into the rest of your evening hours, so around 11 o'clock or so potentially, this is when we could see a bit of wet weather start to make its way across us as the system makes its way towards the east. So the GTHA, Kitchener, Waterloo, around that 11 o'clock hour or so. Sarnia, potential risk for some thunderstorms during that time for yourself. And here we are in Waterloo region, potentially going to see that risk of a thunderstorm sticking with us once we get into the overnight hours in particular. We could see a little bit more active weather if you are going to be in Mount Forest, a little bit further north, around 4 o'clock or so in the morning. And then once that system does pass and we get into your Thursday early afternoon, maybe around noon or 1 o'clock or so, that should be gone, and we should just be left with a little bit of cloud cover, depending on where you are. We could see a little bit of sunny breaks too, which would be nice to see. So decent conditions overall as the Cambridge Fall Fair officially kicks off tomorrow. So keeping our fingers crossed that Mother Nature doesn't change her mind there. So getting into your Friday, this is when we could potentially see a little bit of mixing in terms of scattered shower activity as well. And then right through until Friday, potentially this is what we could see when we look at rainfall total. So 18 millimeters or so anticipated for Kitchener-Waterloo, 14 in Goderich, 17 if you are in the city of Guelph. So again, these are estimated rain amounts that we could see, so something we're going to keep a closer eye on as well. Temperature-wise, 25 degrees, so we've dipped 1 degree down. We were at our high of 26 this afternoon. 19 in Goderich, so feeling a little bit cooler, and even cooler, 17 if you are in Wyerton this hour. So as I mentioned, we did hit our high this afternoon of 26, which is above seasonal for this time of year, so by a few degrees or so. Normal for this time, about 22 degrees. Record high, 36.7. We saw that back in 1953 on this day. And on this day in 1946, we saw an overnight record low of just 1 degree. So a lot cooler compared to the 12 we're going to see as we get into the overnight hours tonight. That sun now rising 6:48 in the morning and setting at 7:54 p.m. We are inching a little bit closer to that 7:45 mark. Hard to believe. Overnight, so that 40% chance of showers sticking with us. Getting into the overnight with the rainfall total, we could see about, for us tonight, 5 millimeters of rain or so potential. Now, the risk of a thunderstorm is expected to start as we get into the overnight hours, and then should lift in terms of when we get into your day tomorrow. So showers expected to end early afternoon, as we mentioned a little bit before. Just a high of 17 degrees, though, we're seeing for tomorrow. So definitely below seasonal when we look ahead at tomorrow. So you want to maybe layer up if you are heading back to school as well. And clearing conditions, though, expected as we get into the back half of your afternoon. So a little bit of active weather potentially sticking with us right through, yeah, pretty much until Monday. There's a chance that we could see some wet weather. And take a look at the daytime highs as well in the upper teens. So definitely a little bit cooler, again, below seasonal. For Lambton, Kent, and Essex, showers and a risk of thunderstorm as we look ahead to your Thursday with a high of 20 degrees. But then some sunshine could be back for you when we look at your Friday. And Southern Georgian Bay, some wet weather potentially in store as well. And also 14 degrees expected for your high for your Thursday, so again below seasonal. And when we look at those overnight lows, we are back to those single digits. And here is tonight's Weather Watcher picture. Carol sending us this shot saying she was laughing when she was out for a walk, and I just heard you giggle there too, Tony.
Yep.
Yeah, she saw a squirrel with something in its mouth, and the closer she got, realizing it's not one, two, but a branch, several acorns. I don't think I've ever seen that.
They don't look ripe either.
No. Yeah, definitely something you don't see every day. Carol adds that this gives a whole new meaning to squirreling things away. It sure does. And the eyes on the squirrel, too. It's, look at this find. Look what I just found. So thank you for sending this and being tonight's Weather Watcher picture. It is, yeah, it made me laugh, too.
They're always up to something. They're always plotting. They're always, it looked like he was kind of grocery shopping there.
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe, I know winter is, you know, several months away.
Stocking up.
Stocking up now, maybe.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks, Alex. Well, Prime Minister Mark Carney and his cabinet are meeting in Toronto today and tomorrow. This is ahead of the fall sitting of Parliament. And their meeting comes as we learn that Carney and U.S. President Donald Trump had what was described as a lengthy chat yesterday. Here's CTV's Judy Trinh with the latest.
Ahead of his cabinet planning forum, the Prime Minister disclosed a top-level conversation.
I last spoke to the President Monday evening. We spoke at length on a wide range of issues, including on trade, but geopolitical other issues.
Over the next 2 days, members of cabinet will get more details about what Mark Carney learned in his unscheduled conversation with Donald Trump. The U.S. needs to start public consultations on the Canada-U.S.-Mexico trade agreement in the next few weeks.
The focus of the government from the start has been on what we can control.
The cabinet agenda includes deciding which major national projects, from ports to pipelines, to put on the fast track. Ministers will also discuss the rollout of Carney's Build Canada Homes initiative and how to build affordable homes on federal land. The finance minister has yet to map out the costs.
It's going to be an ambitious budget, but at the same time with a fiscal discipline, you know.
This budget is about fairness for every generation.
The Liberal government has not passed a budget since April 2024. A budget is expected to be tabled in October. There will likely be public sector cuts in order to pay for investments.
The federal government has been growing spending as a whole at over 7% a year on average for over a decade. That's twice the rate of growth of the economy on average. It's not a sustainable situation. So we need to rein in spending. We need to find efficiencies.
Carney's cabinet also heard from polling experts who told them that the trade war was no longer a top priority for Canadians. Instead, fighting inflation, building homes, and job creation ranked ahead of Trump and his tariffs. Judy Trinh, CTV News, Toronto.
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre, meanwhile, is asking the federal government to end the temporary foreign workers program so that the jobs can instead be filled by young, unemployed Canadians. CTV's Rachel Aiello reports.
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre wants to abolish Canada's temporary foreign worker program
and to stop issuing visas for any new temporary foreign workers coming into the country.
Prime Minister Mark Carney said today Cabinet is discussing how the program is working, but asserted it'll continue to play a part in Canada's immigration system.
When I talk to businesses around the country, particularly in Quebec, but elsewhere across the country, their number one issue is tariffs, and their number two issue is access to temporary foreign workers.
Poilievre's plan includes a carve-out for agricultural labor and an up to 5-year transition period for regions with ultra-low unemployment.
The turnover is insanely high. It's really hard to fill those labor needs domestically.
This 8th-generation farmer said the suggestion has tilled up a lot of concern in his community.
I don't know how you do away with a temporary foreign worker program in totality without potentially harming the agriculture streams.
Migrants' rights advocates say what Poilievre is proposing wouldn't come close to solving this country's employment challenges and accused him of leveraging division over immigration to get back in the national conversation.
Temporary foreign workers are in agriculture, they're chefs, they're in fishery workers. These are not summer youth jobs, right? So linking the two is as bizarre as sort of linking, the wages in Ontario with the weather in Saskatchewan.
The Federal Immigration Department said today that fewer new temporary workers entered Canada in the first half of this year compared to 2024, and continued reductions are planned. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
More thoughts on the shift away from the work-from-home era. Coming up, what a new poll reveals about Canadians' thoughts on federal government workers and hybrid work arrangements. It seems Canadians are divided over whether federal government workers should be required to be in the office full-time. A new Angus Reid survey found 45% of Canadians surveyed support the idea of ending hybrid work for public sector employees. Roughly the same amount, 43%, are opposed to the idea. The idea has gained some steam with the announcement by Ontario's Premier Doug Ford that its public sector employees will be required to be back in the office full-time in January. Well, now that Ottawa's dropped tariffs on a number of U.S. products covered by the Canada-U.S. trade agreement, grocery store shoppers and other small businesses may notice some relief. With more on what the change means for consumers, here's CTV's Joseph Bernacki.
That's at least $5 more than it used to be, as far as I can see.
At the Silver Heights Food Fair, Tom Roloff looks for the best deal on ground coffee. It's an expense he's noted keeps on going up.
Coffee, especially, so I have to look around for better prices. I don't know that anything's gone down.
But prices on the shelf could soon lower after the federal government's decision to drop existing 25% tariffs on U.S. goods covered under the CUSMA Free Trade Agreement. Food expert Sylvain Charlebois says a difference of 25% at the border will make a huge difference for many everyday grocery items.
That list would include coffee, tea, nuts, spices, dried pasta, sauces, pickles, anything in a jar coming from the U.S.
While he's optimistic prices will lower, food fair owner Munther Zeed says it will take some time to see costs come down until existing stock sells.
It's going to really depend on the wholesaler that brought it in. Are they going to eat the tax that they paid, ask for a refund? We'll see. It depends on how fast they get rid of that stock and new stock start coming in.
And he's not the only business owner hoping relief is on the way for customers. Best Sleep Center's David Keem has watched American-made furniture prices skyrocket.
If the chair cost $100, it cost $125. If it cost $200, it cost $250. And having it go the other way will be a significant decrease in my costs.
Charlebois says food inflation is now hovering at 3.4%, but he says a normal rate would be between 1.5 to 2.5%. Charlebois says the removal of these counter tariffs are a step in bringing that rate down. Joseph Bernacki, CTV News, Winnipeg.
All right, time to recap our top stories. Leanne Evans in studio with us on this Back to School Wednesday in Waterloo Region. And tonight we're also looking at an elementary school in Kitchener, Willow River, that isn't quite finished yet.
Yeah, and it won't be for weeks, Tony, as construction is expected to continue into the fall. The school board assuring families that they're prepared to support student learning right now, saying that all necessary health and safety measures are in place. Some students are in temporary spaces waiting for their permanent classrooms to be ready. An appeal from police in a sexual assault investigation. They believe more victims may have had interactions with a Cambridge man who's charged in 2 cases. 47-year-old Trevor Betchin was arrested in March and charged with multiple offenses. Guelph police believe he was targeting people associated with the sex trade, but are asking anyone who's interacted with him to come forward.
And Leanne, looking at our website tonight, we have a segment on some unique ways to keep your travel memories alive.
Yeah, isn't that nice to do too? You always kind of want to bring back whatever you see on vacation, and there's ways to do that. Mitchell Alexander with Globetrotting Magazine stopped by the studio today. We talked food, cocktails, keepsakes, and much more. Plenty of different ways to bring your favorite flavors back home with you. To watch the video, scan the QR code, download the CTV News app, or go to ctvnewskitchener.ca. And Tony, all the keepsake ideas makes you want to book a trip and travel somewhere.
And I know you are a well-traveled person, so I need to take that tip and book a trip sometime soon.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Leanne, thanks so much.
Thanks.
Going head-to-head in an Orientation Week competition like no other. Later on CTV News, Alexandra Hollick is at the University of Guelph, finding out why lettuce is the centerpiece on campus. The roar by the lakeshore will be no more, at least for now. The Honda Indy, a summertime staple along Toronto's waterfront, is moving north of the 401 to Markham next year. CTV's Natalie Johnson tells us why.
After 40 years of racing through Toronto, the roar by the lakeshore is no more, heading north toward a whole new finish line. Markham, start your engines. The Indy race is coming to our city. The mayor of Markham unveiling a 5-year deal to host the fan-favorite race. On a temporary 12-turn, 3.5-kilometer track to be built between Kennedy Road, Enterprise Boulevard, Unionville GO Tracks, and Highway 407.
Markham is geared up and ready to embrace the spotlight.
Spotlight that will spur tens of millions of dollars in economic benefits, 140,000 visitors, 19,000 room nights, and 10,000 jobs.
The benefits are going to be like a tsunami, and they will keep coming every year and get stronger and stronger. And the economic impact that goes along with that is staggering.
Ontario's fastest party is on the move.
Toronto's mayor citing scheduling challenges as the reason for the detour, with the FIFA World Cup taking over Toronto next summer. Olivia Chow, though, optimistic that the Indy won't be gone for good.
Look at the numbers. How many people would actually show up, Markham? Look at just the 65 festivals that we have every year. The number of tourists. Tourists come to Toronto. They love the waterfront. They love the lakeshore.
A lakeshore that for the first time in 40 years won't be revved up next summer as Markham moves into pole position and buckles up. Natalie Johnson, CTV News.
And a driver in already, and it's Pat.
And time for a quick break, but first let's check in with Alex.
Some pretty comfortable conditions for your Wednesday evening. We'll take a look at how the morning is looking in Wake Up Weather coming up. Here's a look at your Wednesday night lineup, starting with E-Talk at 7 before The Big Bang Theory. Then at 8, stick around for Master Chef before Match Game at 9. And then enjoy back-to-back episodes of Shifting Gears.
It's Jeff, KP, and Backstage Ben in the morning.
3 awesome people that want to start your day or finish your overnight shift.
You'll laugh, you'll text, you'll call, you'll scratch your head, and maybe even beat Backstage Ben. Weekday mornings from 5:30 to 10.
Listen live on the iHeartRadio app or at 105.3 Virgin Radio.
All right, we're going to check in with Leanne one more time for a look at a story that our team is watching as we head into this evening. Leanne.
Tony, police in Haldeman County are looking for whoever is responsible for a pair of swatting calls. OPP say they responded to a fake bomb threat at a home on Haldeman Road last night. Then today, officers put a school in lockdown around 1:30 this afternoon after a similar call. Both calls were made to 911. We'll bring you the latest details on that tonight at 11:30. Tony.
Okay, Leanne, thank you very much. Appreciate that. And Alex, our wake-up weather for Thursday. I know there's some rain incoming, but it didn't look like on the 7-day board. It looked like there was more sun than there had been yesterday. So things are improving.
I was going to say, comparing to yesterday when it was supposed to be mostly cloud cover and a bit of rain, it's like, you know, we're on the up and up, right? But yeah, in terms of walking to school tomorrow morning, might not be as best of a day compared to today. Yeah, we could see some rain pretty much sticking with us from 6 right through to 10 a.m. A little bit cooler as well, so you'll want to layer up, maybe bring that rain jacket with you. The chance of showers sticking around for us.
Good advice for any day in September, really, as we head into fall. Okay, finally for us tonight, speaking of end of summer, early fall, it's orientation week for college and university students. Campus clubs are looking to add some new players to their rosters.
This is an interesting one. So at the University of Guelph, the Lettuce Club has put its own spin on back-to-school activities. And CTV's Alexandra Hollick wraps it up for us.
It's the first week of classes at the University of Guelph. But students are already going head-to-head.
The Lettuce Games, which we wanted to do like a kind of like Olympic-style mini-game situation.
From lettuce cornhole to lettuce bowling to lettuce musical chairs.
Instead of musical chairs, it was a leaf of lettuce that you picked up from the ground.
Tossing up some serious competition.
It's a dream come true. I've always wanted to be a lettuce winner, and yeah, I'm so happy.
Obviously, the main thing that the university wants is for people, like students, to connect. And I think Lettuce Club is a big thing that allows for just bonding over lettuce.
The games bringing together students from all walks of LEAF.
I'm first year. I only came here a few days ago,
and the vibes are immaculate. I mean, I am throwing lettuce at inflatable bowling pins. University's better than I thought it was going to be already.
It's been so much fun. It's been great meeting all the lettuce people. Let's go, lettuce! Lettuce!
Lettuce is green. I love green. Green's my second favorite color. Lettuce has water in it. I love water as well. I'm a water resource engineer.
Others say they see the games as a way to de-stress ahead of a busy school year.
It just seems like crazy, no pressure, fun stuff where you get to like meet people and play some games that I don't think you'd ever really have another chance to play.
If you miss the lettuce festivities here at the University of Guelph, you'll be relieved to know the club holds events year-round, including another lettuce eating competition in March. Alexandra Hollick, CTV News, Guelph.
And now we know.
Well, now we know. I had no idea.
Times have changed since we were in school, but it brought up the question, you know, is this the only place this happens? No. Apparently there's a lettuce club at McMaster, there's one at McGill, and I'm sure the list goes on.
Oh my gosh, that is so fascinating. And, you know, to her point too in that interview, really meant to just have students connecting with each other, which is so great.
It's certainly a healthy orientation week activity, that's for sure. That's our time. Krista Simpson is back tonight at 11:30 with your next news. Have a good night.
Take care.